In this problem, what they're asking us to do is to look at the function y equals the square root of 9 minus 4x squared and find the domain and range graphically. So I went over to Desmos. You can see I typed in y equals the square root of 9 minus 4x squared, and you can actually see the top half of an ellipse. Now, we don't want to do this graphically, and I want to do this as dynamically as I can. So I'm going to read a little note that says, remember that graphically the domain is anywhere we can draw a vertical line and hit the graph. So what I'd like to do is try to get Desmos to actually draw some vertical lines and see where I can hit the graph. So this is what I'm going to do. I know that vertical lines have equations of the form x equals a. So I'm going to type in x equals a. And it types in something I don't like. But I want to give different values for a. So I'm going to say a equals 0. Let's do something like that. And you can see the line disappears. When I type in a equals 0, it's going to give me some choices for a. Now remember, this is a vertical line. Now my vertical lines can go as far left as like -10. My vertical lines can go as far right as 10. So that's what I'm going to put in. I'm going to say a is bigger than or equal to -10. Is bigger than or equal to, is less than or equal to 10, sorry. And a pretty small step. So I'm going to go like that. And when I do this, you can see that as I move the slider back and forth, I've got my line. Yay. And what I want to do is ask myself, how far left can I go and hit the graph, right? Well, the far leftest I can go is x is minus 1.5. So I'm going to go down to my little conclusion here and say that minus 1.5 is less than or equal to x. And now I need to find how far right I can go. So I'm going to just move the slider to the right. If I slide it as far as 6, it's too far. 4 is too far. Over to 1.5 is good. And that's all we have to do to find domain graphically. Just make sure you're actually drawing vertical lines and ask yourself, when does the vertical line hit the graph and when does the vertical line not hit the graph? Okay, now I want to do domain, so I'm going to get rid of the vertical line, and I want to draw a horizontal line. Remember that horizontal lines have equations of the form y equals b. And again, it's drawing a line I don't like, but I'm just going to say b equals 0, so it'll make a slider for me. Now, b is a height of a horizontal line. These horizontal lines can go all the way down to -6, and they can go all the way up to 6. So what I'm going to do for my slider is I'm going to have b go down to -6, b go up to 6. I'll have a fairly small step, and I'll go like this. And you can see as I move my slider back and forth, my horizontal line goes. Now, I'd like to know what's the lowest I can go and still hit the graph. Well, if I go down to -2, it's too low. I can see, I think, that if I can get it right there, yes, basically, the lowest I can go, let's see if it'll let me cheat here. Well, that's all right. That'll work. Is 0. And when b is 0, I hit the graph. So what I want to do is have a little conclusion here. So I'm going to add a note for the conclusion. I'm going to say the conclusion, the range is, well, the lowest I can go is 0. I have to have less than and equals. And remember, these are y values. Now I want to know how high I can go and hit the graph. So I start moving that slider again. I can see that 4 is too high. 2 is too low. I think we can just about get to 3. And I think 3 is the highest I can move that horizontal line and hit the graph. And so that's going to be the top end of the range. So I've got a domain that goes from -1.5 to 1.5. That's left to right. I've got a range that goes as low as 0 and up to 3, and that's bottom to top. And that's all you have to do to find domain and range graphically.